The mind, when left alone, does not grow wise. It grows wild. It seeks pleasure. It repeats fear. It recreates the past and calls it destiny. It imagines betrayal where there is none. It clings to insult like its identity. You think it's you. But it's not. It's the part of you you refuse to rule. You must build your life action by action, said Marcus. No one can stop you from that. But if you don't rule your mind, you won't act, you'll flinch. You'll procrastinate. You'll spiral. And still believe, something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. You just never built walls between yourself and your thoughts. A weak mind is a loud mind. Always screaming. Always interpreting. Always complaining. Strong minds are silent, not because they feel nothing. But because they decide what deserves their attention. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not even your ambition. You are what you choose to do in the space between stimulus and reaction. That is where the man is forged, or lost. Don't explain your philosophy, Marcus said. Embody it. A weak man wants to be understood. A disciplined man wants to understand. One is a child waiting to be comforted. The other is a builder, laying the bricks of reason under his own feet. You will never feel ready. You will never feel perfect. You will never conquer your mind once and for all. But each day you wake, you decide. Will I govern? Or will I be governed? And that choice, quiet, unseen, invisible, will echo through your actions, your presence, and your life. The weak man walks with his eyes open but mind enslaved. He is moved by every insult, every compliment, every doubt. But the Stoic walks differently. He walks not because he's sure of the path, but because he knows standing still is a lie. He doesn't wait to feel brave. He acts, and courage follows. Control your mind, or it will build a world against you. A world where every failure proves your worthlessness. A world where silence is suspicion. Where action is danger. Where risk is impossible. But that world is not real. It is a prison of thoughts. A fortress you live inside, built by the fears you never questioned. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. Marcus Aurelius. Your mind will offer you the easy road. Complain, blame, escape. But you were not born for ease. You were born to govern the storm. The storm will come, in you, around you, because of you. But that does not mean you fall. That means you rise, deliberately, ruthlessly, quietly. The man who trains his mind becomes untouchable. Not because pain cannot reach him, but because it cannot shake him. Not because fear disappears, but because he knows what it is. He walks into fire with full awareness that it burns. And still walks. To live a good life, said Marcus, we have the potential for it. If we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Most of what destroys your day, makes no difference. Most of what you worry about, makes no difference. Most of what you think about, makes no difference. And yet you bleed for it. Part 1 ends with this truth. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the one who sees them, and chooses who gets to stay. Control your mind. Not for peace. Not for success. But for freedom. Because if you don't, it will break you. Not because it hates you, but because it cannot lead. And you refuse to. He sat in silence. Not because he had nothing to say, but because for the first time in years, he chose not to say what didn't matter. That is how it begins. The return to self-mastery is not marked by noise, by performance, by rage, but by restraint. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Marcus Aurelius. The weak man reacts. The strong man reflects. The ruler of his own mind does not waste effort trying to rule the world. He begins with his own temple, and sweeps it clean of illusions. A thought enters. They don't respect you. But the trained mind doesn't obey. It pauses. It examines. Is this true? Does it serve me? Does it deserve my energy? Most thoughts collapse under such questions. Because most thoughts were never truths, they were noise wearing armor. First, say to yourself what you would be. Then do what you have to do. Epictetus. You want to be free? Then train your mind like a soldier, not a poet. Not every feeling needs a metaphor. Not every mood deserves a name. You do not owe every thought a home. You owe your mind a throne, and a guard at the gates. This is the discipline of thought. The work no one sees. The victories that leave no scars, only silence. The man who rules his mind wakes early not just to rise, but to rule his first thoughts. Moves with clarity, because he does not drag yesterday's fears into today. Endures pain, because he knows pain is not a message, but a test. Refuses pity, because pity is permission to stay broken. You cannot control the world. You cannot control people. You cannot control outcomes. But you can control how you interpret them. That is your kingdom. And if you abandon it, don't be surprised when chaos reigns. The man who reclaims his mind doesn't seek comfort. He seeks command. He does not hope the storm ends, he trains to walk through it. Not to prove himself to the world, but to prove himself to himself. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. And your greatest enemy lives in your head, when you leave it untrained. Discipline is not denial. It is alignment. The disciplined man is not without emotion, he is not ruled by it. He still feels anger, but he chooses not to become it. He still feels fear, but he uses it to sharpen his posture. He still feels pain, but he does not make it an identity. He doesn't worship the emotion. He watches it pass, like clouds before a clear sky. He knows this. The only thing he truly possesses is his judgment. All else, the body, the wealth, the opinion of others, is temporary. But judgment, that is the forge where his character is made. And so he protects it. He does not let every passing thought pollute it. He does not outsource it to the crowd. He does not let weakness disguise itself as kindness or truth. This is the man who is free. Not because nothing touches him, but because nothing owns him. His silence is not fear, it is force. His stillness is not laziness, it is presence. His calm is not ignorance, it is earned through war within. He does not debate with chaos. He does not argue with his emotions. He does not plead with weakness to leave him. He simply acts, because the disciplined mind knows. Don't waste time on what you can't control. Rule what you can. And what you can rule, is you. He does not rise by accident. He rises on purpose, and with purpose. Before the world touches him, he touches his own mind. He doesn't reach for his phone. He reaches for silence. Because he knows. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So he chooses those colors before anyone else does. He sits in solitude, not for comfort, but for clarity. He inspects the walls of his mind like a commander before battle. What voices are still whispering from yesterday? What worries are pretending to be facts? What weakness is dressing itself in logic? He does not judge these thoughts. He simply names them. And in naming them, he breaks their spell. This is the power of routine. Not repetition for repetition's sake, but as a weapon against chaos. He trains not just his body, but his attention. Not just his habits, but his perception. Every action becomes a vote. Will I act from emotion or from principle? Most men vote without knowing. He votes with intention, every hour, every word, every thought. Let your one delight and refreshment be to pass from one service to the community to another, with God ever in mind. Marcus Aurelius. The man of discipline does not wait to feel like leading. He leads himself, so that no one else has to drag him. He knows this. What begins as thought becomes behavior. What becomes behavior becomes identity. And what becomes identity, becomes fate. So he interrupts the chain, at the root. You don't wait for the mind to be still. You make it still, by cutting what doesn't belong. Like a gardener pulling weeds. Like a sculptor carving stone. Like a general enforcing law. This is the work no one sees, but everyone feels in your presence. A man who has ruled his mind walks differently. He speaks slower. He listens deeper. He doesn't chase validation, because he validates himself through action. He does not perform. He does not flinch. He does not explain. He simply moves, as if led by something greater. Because he is. And when the storm comes, and it always comes, he doesn't beg the gods. He doesn't blame the world. He doesn't panic. He does what he trained to do. Hold the line. Because discipline isn't needed when things are easy. It's revealed when they are not. Look well into thyself, there is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Marcus Aurelius. So he looks inward. Not to escape, but to command. And the man who commands himself needs no one to rescue him. Let others seek peace in distraction. Let others chase comfort in pleasure. Let others blame their past, their parents, their pain. He builds something higher. He builds order, in a place where no one can see, but everyone can feel. His mind becomes a citadel. Not untouched by life, but untaken by it. Because a man who controls his mind cannot be broken. He may bend, he may bleed. But he does not beg. He walks alone, not because he needs no one. But because he knows the hardest road must be walked within. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You don't need more time. You don't need more approval. You don't need more clarity. You need to return to your mind, and take it back. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now.